I don't care about your fake and gay stock market collapsing, boomers. You locked me in a decaying comedy block apartment over the flu and cost me my job. I'm nearly 40 in the worst job market ever in a century. Because of your greed and selfishness, I voted for this. I'm 24 and I don't care about 401ks. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Remember what I told you guys the other day about how with the Trump tariffs, people weren't going to care because they don't have stocks and they think it's bullshit? And everybody said there's no way they're going to be thinking this. There's no way they're going to think this. Well, fuck your 401ks. I want my country back. And so you're having way more people saying this because the big problem is that I think that whenever you have like a global economy and you're competing against like, let's say people from India that are willing to do the job for like 1/10 the amount of money that you're willing to do it at, or 50% or 80%, even something less extreme. Is this good for the country that is providing a platform for this to happen for? And in general, I think the answer to that is no. And what's a 401k? Yeah, exactly, right? And I think this is what's happening to a lot of these people, is that people see society and they see, you know what it's like? I don't really like using a lot of like movie comparisons because it's like it's a movie, but like it's like the end of Fight Club, right? Where like all the banks get destroyed and all the debt is wiped out, all the credit's wiped out, everything's wiped out. The idea that, and why was that so popular among young men? Even then it was. The reason why is that I think that there is a prevailing idea that young men have, that they are born into a rigged system that's actively working against them. And when they see things like, scholarship opportunities for people who have an identity that's different than theirs, like being women or something like that, they kind of are. Well, that's not the point, right? The point is, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what's true. It matters what people think is true. And so this is what people think is true. And so, yeah, globalists hate us. Exactly. And so this is the reason why you see so much support for the Trump tariffs. It's because people look at, for example, like if you look at the stock market, let me just pull it up. It's the first graph I can find, right? And so anyway, if you zoom in, let me go back. We'll do like right here. So this is in the last year. So a lot of the gains that happened in the stock market, especially after like in 2020 here, a lot of these gains were amounts of money that were gained inside of the top 1% of the population. And I think what you're going to see here, and this is what the tariffs are showing you, is that we are going to have a convergence of people who are, basically extremely nationalistic, and they want the country to act in their best interest and not in the best interest of like some global, international company. And you're going to see that happen, and you're going to see a convergence of that with like extreme left, like economic policy. And we're already seeing this happening. And so this is the reason why they don't care about the stock market. It's because the stock market represents a bunch of rich people that control everything, who these people look at as the ones who've ruined their lives. So why the fuck would a young guy who doesn't have any stocks, and they feel like this is like, if you're a young man, it's hard for you to get a job. There are, systematic ways that you're disenfranchised or denied opportunities. And on like the culture, it seems like it's okay to make fun of young men and other things that are similar to that. No stocks, fuck them. Exactly. They want revenge. Yes, exactly. Rust Belt revenge. That's exactly it. And so this is the reason why you see so many people supporting the Trump tariffs. And this is the part that a lot of people won't say out loud. They want it to go down. They think, fuck these companies, these international companies that are getting rich off of these, like fucking sweatshop laborers. And, they've put Americans out of a job. They want it to go down. Yeah, buy the dip. No, I'm being serious, right? How does this benefit them, though? Because it hurts somebody that they don't like, and that's good enough. See, this is the part that you don't understand, is that when people feel desperate, they'll set somebody else on fire. If people like this feel cold, they're willing to set somebody else on fire to warm themselves up. That's the way it works. And so that's how it happens. It's 40% right. No, and I'm telling you guys, this is what's going to happen. And you're seeing it now. And tariffs happen like this caused the Great Depression. You're right, though. Yeah, but I don't think that these people are already in the Great Depression in their mind. They're already in the Great Depression. They've been in the Great Depression. These are people that have like crushing student aid debt. They have, you know, no real sense of like upward mobility in the society or anything like that. And so they're like, okay, you want to have a Great Recession or whatever? That's fine. And I think that really it is a nuclear option. It is an extreme nuclear option. But I think that a lot of young men are more than willing to take it. And that's why if you look at all of these posts and people, almost every single person who's posting positively about the tariffs is a young man. Have you noticed that? Because I've been reading about this a lot. I've been reading about it, trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is going on here. No careers, only entry-level crap. Exactly. And so, yeah, they're Trump cultists. No, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. Basically, these types of things happening, and I'll read this again. This is the way that people think. I'm 24. I don't care about 401ks. I am still paying off my $10,000 car that I had to buy at 12% interest rate because Biden hiked the rates for first-time buyer rates. I have a $250 a month insurance payment because you let 100 million illegal immigrants drive without licenses. My rent is nearly $2K a month because you made it illegal to build and imported millions of foreigners to replace me. So a lot of young guys, they see an old movie, right? And it's like a guy that has just like your traditional everyday job, and he has a wife and kids and a house. And they think about, why can't I have that? And they assume that it's because of these people that have a lot of the wealth. And the fact is that they're right. To a big extent, they're right. A lot of the reasons why these people don't have any fucking money is because all of the money and wealth is consolidated in the top 1% of the society. That they're right. And so the problem is that how far are these people willing to go in order to get what they believe to be their dignity back? Right? It's everybody else's fault? Yeah, it is. And that's the way that they're going to look at it. And that's the point that I'm making. Why are you making it sound like tariffs are such an insane idea? I don't care about what you think about them at all. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. That's not the point. The point is, why do people support them? Why are people against them? And so it's the same reason why all of the people that were talking so great about Luigi killing a person that, worked at one of these big companies are now crying about the big companies losing market value. It's because they don't care about the person, but they've got stock in the company. That's the reason why. And this is what I've said before about how every single time people have values that are completely self-referential. There's no principle in this. There's nothing in this at all. It's hilarious, Peril. No, but am I wrong? Yeah, am I fucking wrong? No, I don't think so. And so anyway, this doesn't only affect big companies. No, you're right, it doesn't. But it does affect big companies. That's it. And so you're totally right. Yes. And I think that also most of the companies that people have their money invested into, that they're complaining about stocks, most of those companies have CEOs that, if you used Luigi's logic, deserve a bullet in the back of the head. That's the way it is. And I'm not saying you should do that. I think that's a terrible idea. But that's what he did. And they were you're wrong. Okay. Okay. All right. Don't say I didn't warn you. I said this is going to happen. I said it was going to happen 2 days ago, and we're seeing it happen now. And I think that there's nothing that's more dangerous than people that have nothing left to lose. And I think that's the reason why so many people are okay with the massive discord and panic that the Trump tariffs create, because they want that. They want that to happen because it's like a visceral revenge that they have against a elite economic ruling class that they feel like has disenfranchised them for their whole life. So they don't have any stocks. They don't care about any of this stuff. They want all of this stuff to burn down. It's like, again, it's the end of Fight Club. And you can say that's bad. You're not thinking too much into the future. And I think, yeah, it is short-sighted in a lot of ways. Absolutely. But it doesn't matter what you think. It matters what they think, because they're the ones that are acting on it, not you. So that's it. I'll read a few more of these comments, and we'll talk about the tariffs more. But I spent like probably 2 hours reading posts about this yesterday, and like trying to trying to understand, like, what are people thinking? Like, why is this happening? Why is there such a big disconnect? And that's what I think is going on here. It's Longside, exactly. Actually, well, for them, it's not. I understand that you can have, like, a long-term perspective, and I think that moving manufacturing to the U.S. is a good idea, especially as we transition to automation, because if we don't have, local national manufacturing, the U.S. will cease to be a producer in almost anything other than, like, intellectual property. So I think that it's definitely a good decision in some cases to have manufacturing move back over, but this isn't really what people are saying nowadays, right? It's not. They aren't thinking, it's not deep. Well, they are thinking. They're thinking that this is one thing that you need to keep in mind. And this is, remember what I said before about how, like, I can understand why a person joins ISIS or why a person joins, like, Hezbollah or, Hamas. And, like, people got mad at me. They were like, oh, well, how could you possibly do that? How could you possibly commiserate with the terrorist? This is the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a different flavor, and it's not as extreme. Why are you putting their extreme views on a pedestal? Because a lot of people have them. That's the reason why. Yeah, I don't care about tariffs because I pulled my investments and put them in interest-bearing account. It was obvious this was coming. Yeah, sure. They're acting in their own immediate interest. What does a 401k matter if they can't afford breakfast or basic goods? This is the premise of a tariff enjoyer. This is absolutely it. They've grown up in recessions and downturns, and the only thing that they saw grow was the numbers of billionaires. Of course, they're mad. They're acting in their own immediate interest. What does some 401k matter if they can't afford breakfast or basic goods? That is exactly it. Losers who are bad with money had no retirement plan, no investments, are okay with tariffs, right? Yeah. And this is what I said before about how, whenever we have automation, we're going to have to bring back slavery or do something that's similar to that, maybe kill a bunch of people. Because what are you going to do with all these people that, don't have a top 10% level of intelligence in order to perform some kind of a job, right? That's still not removed by AI. Well, what do you do with them? Well, you have to do something. People don't see it the way I see it. People don't. This is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. If you think this is bad, this is only going to get worse. It's only going to get way worse. And so UBI, depopulation. Yeah, I remember when COVID came out, and I was like, oh, are they doing it? Because I was thinking, because I always thought a really good way to kill a bunch of people would be like do a plague or something, right? But because that worked for Europe, and it didn't really happen. But that's what I thought it was going to be. Yeah, the COVID. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, China got early access. And anyway, let's see here. Yeah, what a crazy season release. Yeah, crazy, right? We'll get the Pareto principle. This outcome is mathematical certainty in any economy. Of course it is. And it's a mathematical certainty in all realities. So, yeah. And let's see here. This is... I want to let you know that following since January, acceptable compelled speech, premise of debate, banned for debating. If you want to argue about one of my moderators, listen, my mods are gods, okay? I'm not going to hear any negative complaining about them. If there's an issue, you can bring it to me privately, but you're not going to come into my chat and do some can I speak to the manager bullshit, okay? Like, we're not going to hear it. I don't want to deal with it. If you have an issue, you need to contact me privately and not complain about it in Twitch chat. Okay, that's it. Like, these are my mods. A lot, like, they work for free, basically. I mean, I think I bought a few of them, a couple of things, right? But otherwise, they pretty much do this for fucking free. So you've got to find me a really good reason for me to tell them what they need to do, right? And so anyway, the guy's trying to call me out. The person got banned for supporting a white ethno-state. Well, whatever they got banned for, it's their prerogative for how they want to manage the Discord or whatever other communities. And if you have an issue with it, you can message me privately. But coming into the stream and doing a can I speak to the manager thing, that's not for me, man. I'm not about it. I don't want to hear it. And so, yeah, there you go. Voluntary slaves. Well, no, not exactly. But, anyway, we'll move on and look at this. But that's basically the way that I feel about it. And I've noticed this a lot. And a lot of people don't know how extreme this is going to get. What are my view on the tariffs? I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. I think that it's massively destabilizing. I know people, I've had friends of mine contact me and they've said like, yeah, bro, like our company is like way worse. Like we have this massive issue. We're thinking about doing layoffs, right? So like I've had people tell me like that they're really bad. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Do you think he'll revert it? I think that he'll leverage the tariffs in order to get certain negotiation concessions from different countries. That's what I think will happen. Will the tariffs be... Will the tariffs in their current form exist in the long term? I do not think the answer to that is yes. I don't think that in, 6 months from now, we're going to be looking at the exact same tariffs. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. They're already negotiating? Yeah, of course they are. Because it would be bad for them too. It's bad for us and it's bad for them. And this is like, again, Trump negotiates, and this is the way that a lot of people that are very good negotiators, they walk the razor's edge of being a great negotiator by being extremely fucking, what's the word? Just like not callous, but just not even giving a fuck, right? They aggressive, unpredictable. Yes, exactly. Harsh, abrasive. Well, yeah, it's completely unpredictable. And that there's no degree of self-preservation with them. And if you're negotiating with a person that has no perception of self-preservation, it's very, very scary to negotiate with a person like that because you never know what they're going to do. They'll set themselves on fire if they mean it'll burn you. And so, oh fuck, right? Like, how do you deal with that? So that's the reason why Trump is, I think, strong at negotiating, is because he's willing to set a bunch of people on fire. Straight up. Like, that's the reason. And like, if you negotiate with a person like that, that's really fucking hard to do, right? Because it's basically like, yeah, it'll hurt us, but it'll also hurt you. How much do you want to get hurt? And that's it. And it's, again, you could say it's like a mafia tactic or whatever, but it does work with a lot of people. And so, yeah, leaning left today. Am I really? I mean, I don't think that I'm really leaning left. I think this is anything that I'm saying left wing here? I feel like this is just the truth. This is the way it is. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, who said that? I don't know. Yeah, it's pure logic. Yeah, this is all logic. And so anyway, yeah, my reg button is bigger than yours. Exactly. We imposed tariff in 2017. Multiple countries in the U.S. economy flourished under Trump's administration. How is this any different? I'm not... Why... Like... Nobody knows what's going to happen. Why are we even debating this? Nobody has any idea what the end game for this is. So yeah, I mean, these are blanket tariffs. It's very different. Well, I'm saying, like, nobody knows. That's my point. Trump bootlickers are nihilists and Joker style, watch it burn, not a serious people. Well, and this is a really good point that you're bringing up here, is that tariff bootlickers are nihilists and Joker style, the watch it all burn, not serious people. Well, they don't need to be serious to cause serious damage, do they? And the Joker blew up a bunch of buildings. So do you want to have somebody like that in your city? Nope, you don't. And so that's the way it is. But no, and he's right. Like, that's absolutely it. But here's the thing, is that when you feel like you've grown up in a circus, you turn into the Joker. What a surprise. And this is the reason why, again, a lot of the people that are supporting these tariffs are young people, especially young men. The stock market's crashing? Yeah, and they don't give a fuck about that. It's fake money anyway. That's the reason. Okay, bozo. No. See, you might not understand. This is what I was saying before. Again, do you see how all this fits together about how, like, they need to, like, bring back some form of, like, neo-feudalism or, you know, like, have a depopulation effort or something? Because, like, you're going to have so many of these people that inside of a democratic system, they will outvote you and cause problems. I just, like, I don't think people understand what's coming. They really don't. Why would we give a fuck about that old rich fucks that are losing money? Exactly. And these are people, and you know who really cares a lot about stocks? Two groups of people care a lot about stocks. Number one is, you know, obviously rich people, and number two is old people. So with you, when you have a group of people who think that boomers have fucked up the economy and they hate boomers, and now you have a system where basically boomers are getting absolutely fucked by this system, they're happy. I think that many people really don't understand how popular revenge is. And that's it. Let's remove the boomers. Well, this will remove boomers. When they run out of money and they die because they can't afford healthcare, this is a boomer remover. It will be. Now, it might take a couple of years if the stock market keeps going down, but it will kill them. Now, it doesn't kill them directly, right? But it will do it indirectly. Lamount? No, am I wrong? Of course it will. You take away people's money and then they can't afford to get health care and they die. Duh. It happens all the time in America. Not wrong. No. And I'm just talking about this the way it is. That's it. Perfect plan. Exactly. Also die with job loss. Yes, clearly. It'll kill young people far faster. No, young people will not be killed by not being able to afford health care at the same rate that old people will. What a stupid thing to say. Anyway, but I'll get to, I know like JD Vance did an interview about this and there are some other things that were happening. So, we'll move back and forth with it, right? And, but young people are not impacted by tariffs. Like the Democrats are not freaking out about the Tesla fires. Well, it depends, right? That's two very different things though. Boomers have Medicare, they'll lose their houses and we can buy them cheap. Exactly. Yep. And by the way, some people might think like that's a horrible thing to say. Yeah, that's what people have been doing for thousands of years. Yeah, they've been doing this forever. You have to understand that if you look at like all human history, right? So this is all of human history. Give me 1 second. This is the part where we don't rape and pillage. And this is the part where we do. So, when you understand this graph, people are programmed to think in the red. They're not programmed to think in the green. That's it. Looks like a blunt? Well, maybe so. Yeah, Schedule 1, bring it back. And it could still ruin your life. You can't afford healthcare and you have a baby or a car, it puts you $30K in debt you can't recover from. Yeah, no, for sure it will. Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm talking about like ratios and averages, right? That's clearly what we're discussing here. Young people need homes too. Exactly. And I think this is, they've been using this for years. Yeah, and so there's two ways. How do you fix housing? Well, there's two ways. You either make new houses, or you get the people out of current houses. So if you have a system that by a third order of effect kills people, then that's going to fix housing a little bit, wouldn't it? It would, because they're dead, so who's going to be in the house? And that's what it's going to be. Yeah, deport illegals. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling y'all this is what's going to happen. And you might think I'm crazy, but in time, you'll see the truth. You'd rather kill people instead of building more? I didn't say I wanted to do that. I think it's a bad idea. But what I'm saying is that other people don't. And what I'm saying is that you can't, like, people always make these moral arguments, and they're not real. Like, these are like fake arguments that people don't really believe in. They would be more than willing to do something horrible to another person in order to get what they want. And that's I think that most average people are like way worse than you can imagine. They are way worse than you can imagine, and you have no idea how fast and how easily they can support something that is completely dehumanizing. Yeah, supply and demand. Yeah, don't be so nihilistic, dude. I'm not nihilistic. I'm just looking at history, and I'm looking at common sense. That's all. China imposes 34% on all U.S. imports. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is going to be a pretty exciting time, isn't it? Man, I thought we were cooked yesterday. Little did I know that we were only marinated. Oh, no, this is going to be... Trade wars usually don't end after the first one or two moves. Yeah, this is going to go on and on and on. And I think this is going to be crazy. I don't know really what's going to happen, but right now, I think everything's up in the air, pretty much. So, yeah, it's insane. Tax the penguins? I did see that. Yes, Trump put a tariff or a tax or something like that on an island where only penguins live on it.